Right, that's just it.
Wikipedia. You're going to go against Wikipedia?
I want to know what the Hebrew...
I wrote that page on Wikipedia.
He wrote that before we got here.
He edited it.
Wikipedia.
He foresaw all of this happening. Wow.
I am just about
Oh,
positive.
it can refer to the whole of humankind.
Okay. Because I'm just 99% sure that I've been taught that.
The human said.
That when we call him Adam, like the next chapter, he's going to become Adam with a capital A.
Mm.
That's an instance of us reading into the text. Like,
Right.
the next chapter is actually an interpretation of the previous chapter without realizing it.
They want to know in the chat room where I found you guys. Was it from an agency?
What kind of agency?
A Torah agency. It's Torah
Right.
Scholars.
RussianBrides.com.
The Torah Scholars Agency.
LA Direct Models. Very sweet, guys.
No, there's an agency called Girls Talk Torah.
Is there really?
Where we came
There
from.
is now. I'm going to go register that URL.
Girls Talk Torah.
Girls Talk Torah.
Hot.
That's hot.
Yeah.
I like the chat room. They always keep things on an elevated level. We've got the Torah
Shalom.
Inquirer.
Russian Dragon says shalom.
The whole gang is
Leave
here.
it.
So, ladies,
next?
any more thoughts?
But this is where the whole idea of all of the different, like Lilith narratives come from, right? Verse 23, where he says, this time, she is it. As if there were other times, right? As if God had brought other drafts.
Right.
Like, isn't there like Jewish myth? There's like the first Eve and the second Eve.
Wow. I'm not
Why don't you
familiar
tell
with
the
that.
Lilith story to people who may not be familiar?
Well, there are a number of Lilith stories, but the idea is that, this is people responding to this time. What do you mean this time? So then they say, well, what happened was there are different versions, but there was Lilith. God brought Lilith to Adam, right? But she was crazy and she couldn't be subdued.
Was she a
and
succubus?
I think I've heard that. I think that's one version, but it's just one version. But she was like this demonic woman in
Why would
some
you bring
legends.
a
Witchy.
succubus to Adam. I mean, that's not very nice.
Right, it's
Well,
very strange,
the
right?
Eagles talked about witchy woman.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
and
so that
she
Lilith was
rejected?
banished.
I mean, Adam basically, he said.
Yeah, he was like, no, I can't control her.
She's
I need
but not
somebody.
for me.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
not for me. So then there was first Eve. She didn't work out. Well, haven't you read just like different Jewish legends, like Jewish myths, where like God brings one woman to him, and she's made of like hair and like mud and blood and stuff like that, and she's like, hello, I'm your partner. And he's like, no. And so God's like, okay, let me try again. This time we'll put like skin on. So, yeah. I got this out of a book of Jewish myths.
No, sounds right.
That's super cool.
It's very interesting. But anyways, that's where the whole
That's what I'm
Lilith.
going as for Halloween, I decided. First Eve.
First Eve.
Mud
Oh,
and
that's
blood
so
beer.
good.
You
That's
know?
so good. But yeah.
I like the Ascroll commentary on chapter 3, verse 5, where the serpent has said to Eve, you won't die. God knows that on the day you eat of tree of knowledge, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
The Ascroll commentary is, the serpent used another ploy familiar to those who try to rationalize the Torah away. They contend that those who convey and interpret the law of God are motivated by a selfish desire to consolidate power in themselves. So, I mean, that's the common argument against the rabbis and
Yeah.
kashrut certification agencies.
Wow.
They're just trying to seize the power for themselves and make us pay a toll.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's a...
So
I
the way.
see
That's
the logic behind the argument.
That's
Yeah,
the argument of the serpent, according to the Ascroll.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
I mean, it questions, like, what is the capacity of divinity, right? You'll become like gods, knowing good and evil. You know, it's not being able to do anything about it, but you have knowledge of what is good and what is evil, as opposed to the power to stop it.
You will be like divine beings.
Oh, yours says divine beings?
Yeah. Which I understand is referring to them. You'll be beings who are like the divine. But yeah.
There's very little in the Jewish tradition about this being a fall.
Right. It's
And
not a
we
fall.
were raised-
Christianity calls it a
You
fall.
read this and you go,
Yeah,
it's obvious that we need Jesus, right?
Right. 'Cause we fell. We fell from grace. Within Judaism, it's an expulsion. It's like this in and out movement as opposed to up down, which I think is very, very interesting.
Right. Cast out.
Yeah.
Fallen.
Yeah, it's like you're cast out of the community, you know, as opposed
You're cast out of ignorance.
Right. Yeah, that's that too.
What are you laughing at?
I was just thinking about, the old truism, ignorance is bliss.
Right.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I always think about that when I read this because
Yeah.
it's life was so much easier and simpler, more peaceful and pastoral before the knowledge of good and evil, right?
Right.
I was like, the more I know, the more confused I become and the unhappier I become because it was so simple back when I was a Christian, and it was just a matter of accepting Jesus, and everything's great, and you go to heaven.
Right.
But see, like, it's not that simple.
Right.
Right, back to the responsibility thing.
Yeah. My mom and I are always arguing. She's saying, life is not that complicated. Religion is not. God is not that complicated, Monica. And I'm saying, no, He is. You know, He is. Life is not that simple. God is not that simple, Mom. But sometimes I wish I were back in the place where it felt simpler, because it's just easier. It's an
Or
easier
just
place
like
to live.
childhood. I mean, this is childhood where your parents provide for you, and
You're not really responsible for your actions.
right. But almost all the time I was a child, I couldn't wait to be an adult.
Oh,
really?
yeah.
That was the opposite.
Really?
I was terrified of growing up.
Really?
Terrified. I mean, I remember being small, like 5, 6 years old, and just thinking, God, I really wish I was a baby again. It was so much easier.
Really?
So much easier.
Really?
When I was an infant, and I didn't have to worry about all of this.
Oh my gosh.
Drama,
Wow.
Yeah, like vivid memories of having these thoughts of being like, I wish I could just go back when I was like, first grade or something.
Oh wow.
Life was tough.
Yeah,
Like you were 5, did you wish you were?
I wanted to be an
again?
adult.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think most kids are so eager to be, treated like a grown-up and, get to stay up later and get
Are
to...
you a youngest child?
No.
Siblings?
Yeah, I'm the older.
You're the oldest.
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
Oh.
Oh, man, I remember really, investing a lot of time in the fantasies of, if I could just go back and, be swaddled, Yeah.
Funny. Wow.
And what would you guys say were the happiest times of your life? Was it infancy?
I loved college.
College?
I loved college. I was very happy in college, yeah. That's
Why?
initial response. Because I was free but still protected, I think. And everything was open to me. Whatever I wanted to explore. Whether it was socially, whether it was academically, intellectually, I could do it. I was in a place where it was just like, whatever road you want to go down, it's cool. And it was probably the first time I ever truly felt that way. And it was just it was phenomenal.
How about you, Monica? What was the happiest time of your life?
I can't think of a long period that was happy.
Can you
We were up and down in college.
I can think of
period? Can you think of a
the
short
longest period I can think of where I was just really happy was maybe a 5 or 6 week period.
And what was
Because
that?